Hey, brothers and sisters, thanks for joining me today. So, this is going to be another one where I'm talking about free speech in the UK. And this one's going to be interesting, I think, for me, because it's not the normal abuse of police power and intimidation that I normally see, but I think it is a case of two-tier policing. So, let's take a look at this. As the whole world knows by now, Charlie Kirk was murdered about a week ago, and the world's been going mad with lunatic leftists calling to kill more people and cheering on the death of Charlie Kirk. So let's watch what one of those leftists had to say right after Charlie Kirk was murdered.
Pro-gun advocate Charlie Kirk just got shot in the neck at his own debate rally. I try to avoid American politics if possible, but I've opened X to a bunch of little bitches crying and whinging about how political violence is never the answer. These people are gunning for politics that is inherently violent to its people. These people are gunning for politics that are inherently violent to a population. To marginalised people, to people who need access to healthcare. This is the same across the West. This isn't just the US. This is England too. I'm sick of this idea that you can't meet violence with violence. If somebody was smacking you in the face in the corner of a room over and over, you're going to hit them back. You have to. You're not getting out of that unless you do. These people do not care if you live or die. They don't. As long as you can work for them and make them money, and once you're useless, they don't care. They want you to die. Why is anyone condemning that? Fucking kill them all. Kill them all.
So you heard it there from Charlotte, kill them all, kill them all. Tell me, if you're in the UK, is that legal? I'm not sure. I'm not a lawyer, but let's watch it one more time. This time I'm going to comment on it.
Pro-gun advocate Charlie Kirk just got shot in the neck at his own debate rally. I try to avoid American politics if possible, but I've opened X to a bunch of little bitches crying and whinging about how political violence is never the answer. These people are gunning for politics that is inherently violent to its people.
All right, so there's where she just did it. I disagree, Charlotte. I personally agree with what Pierce Morgan had to say. Hurty words are not violent, even if you don't like them. As Pierce said, violence is violence. And I thought those were wise words. Bullets are violence. Hurty words are not violence, Charlotte.
These people are gunning for politics that are inherently violent to a population.
Politics are not violent. Sorry, Charlotte. Speech and politics you don't like are not violent.
To marginalised people, to people who need access to healthcare. This is the same across the West. This isn't just the US.
Marginalizing and taking away access to healthcare is not violence, Charlotte.
This is England too. I'm sick of this idea that you can't meet violence with...
Yeah, so see, she's now said that politics that she doesn't like is violence, and now you can answer it with violence.
Violence. If somebody was smacking you in the face...
Charlotte, that's the first time you've talked about violence. Smacking in the face is violence, and yes, you can answer real physical violence with violence, but not hurty words.
In the corner of a room over and over, you're going to hit them back. You have to. You're not getting out of that unless you do. These people do not care if you live or die.
Maybe not. I don't know you, Charlotte.
They don't. As long as you can work for them and make them money, and once you're useless, they don't care. They want you to die. Why is anyone condemning that? Fucking kill them all. Kill them all.
So I just heard Charlotte incite violence. I think that's what I heard. I don't know. Tell me again in the comments. Is this legal in the UK? Did I get anything wrong here? Are hurty words violence and political ideas? Now, Charlotte has faced some consequences for this because people discovered that Charlotte lives in the UK. She also made that post from America. Let's see what some of the consequences were. Two-tier policing row-ups after left-wing TikToker influencers let off over kill them all post after Charlie Kirk's murder, in stark contrast to Lucy Conley. It looks like what happened was people reported Charlotte to the police in the UK for inciting violence. And in the UK, I think that's illegal. A row over two-tier policing has erupted after a left-wing TikTok influencer was let off for posting "kill them all" in the aftermath of Charlie Kirk's murder. If you're gonna throw Lucy Conley in jail for saying something like, I hope they burn their hotels down. I don't know exactly what it was, but it was something like that. I'm thinking kill them all ought to work, unless it's okay to kill conservatives, but it's not okay to kill migrants, of course. That might be what's going on. The decision by Kent police not to prosecute Charlotte Hayes has led to outrage online, including from author J.K. Rowling and Shadow Justice Secretary Robert Jenrick. The heavily tattooed social media star has 200,000 followers, posted a shocking video on TikTok after pro-Trump influencer was fatally shot, accusing his followers of espousing views that were inherently violent. She said she was sick of the idea that you can't meet violence with violence, adding, why is anyone condemning that? Before finishing her message and shouting, kill them all. Well, I know for sure, I've watched a bunch of Kirk videos now. He never espoused violence, but if you are one of the left-wing lunatics who thinks that hurty words are violence, then okay. But that's actually dangerous, Miss Charlotte, because that means you see all people that are right of you as violent and are acceptable targets. That also means that they theoretically would have a self-defense argument for using violence on you. So all this does is escalate the situation into real violence. And this is kind of how we got here with Charlie Kirk too. It's rhetoric like Charlotte just used that someone who's mentally ill will see and believe that it's violence, and then they'll believe that they're in a self-defense situation and go kill somebody. And that's likely to be the reasoning of the Kirk shooter. Kent police said it visited Ms. Hayes, but instead of arresting her, only offered her words of advice after determining that no offenses had been committed. The 25-year-old later deleted the video, but not before it had gone viral on social media, racking up millions of views. In the video, she said, I've opened X to a bunch of bitches crying and whinging about how political violence is never the answer. These people are gunning for politics that is inherently violent to the population, to marginal people, and the people we don't have access to healthcare. These people do not care if you live or die. They don't, as long as you can work for them and make them money. Once you are useless, they don't care. They want you to die. Why is anyone condemning that? Fucking kill them all, kill them all. Yep, we heard it. After the footage, the video was widely shared on social media. The organization that Mr. Kirk founded, Turning Point USA, posted it on their Twitter account to condemn them. It has also been critical of the police's decision not to prosecute. Now, Rowling and Jenrick have compared her treatment by the police to that of Graham Linehan, the comedian arrested for an anti-trans tweet, and Lucy Conley, who was jailed for a tweet inciting violence in the wake of the Southport murders. The Harry Potter author questioned the sense of a social media influencer escaping punishment after urging her followers to kill people with different political views. Yeah, Charlotte's got far greater reach than Lucy Conley ever had. She drew a comparison to Father Ted creator Graham Linehan, who was arrested for saying if a man refused to leave a woman's only space, he should be punched in the balls. Meanwhile, Mr. Jenrick said the law is not being applied equally after drawing a comparison with the police decision in the case of Lucy Conley's treatment. Yeah, that's actually the real crux of the problem. On its face, her statements in this video are just as bad as Lucy Conley's. If Lucy Conley's going to get 31 months, this woman's getting let off with advice. It just doesn't seem fair. It doesn't seem right. It seems like two-tier policing. Mr. Kirk and his family. Here's Charlotte. She's definitely a left-wing lunatic. Kent police have decided no crime has been committed after Charlotte Hayes called for the conservatives to be murdered. Yeah, that's what I heard. Why is anyone condemning that? Kill them all, kill them all. This is two-tier policing. Leftists can now publicly call for our deaths with no repercussions. Yep, that's what I saw. It started with Ricky Jones, and now it's spreading across the country. Meanwhile, Lucy Conley was jailed for a tweet. That's right. Ricky Jones said, and I'm paraphrasing, something like it was okay to cut people's heads off on the right. So this incitement of violence, if you're on the left, you're getting a pass in the UK. If you're on the right, nope. They're coming down hard. Shame on Kent police. Mrs. Conley was jailed for 31 months after seemingly calling for people to set fire on hotels, housing asylum seekers in the wake of the Southport riot. Since being released after serving 40% of her sentence, she has said she was made to be Keir Starmer's political prisoner. Other examples of apparent two-tier policing include that of Dartford Labour Councillor Ricky Jones, who was cleared of encouraging violent disorder despite calling for far-right activists' throat to be cut in August of last year. Since the row broke out, the mother of one Miss Hayes told the Telegraph that she regretted posting the video. I bet she did. But said her words had been misconstrued. No, they weren't, Charlotte. I heard your words. She insisted "kill them all" line was satirical, borrowed from the quote "kill everyone now" from the 1972 cult film Pink Flamingos, which she had watched 2 days earlier. It wasn't a general statement about anyone who has right-wing beliefs, she told the paper. Of course, that's what she's saying now because she doesn't want to get to jail. It was jokes. It was just jokes. Ms. Hayes compared her statement to the often used left-wing battle cry, "Eat the rich," adding, "Nobody is really going to cannibalize the rich." Toby Young, Lord Young of Acton and director of the Free Speech Union, said the instance was yet another example of a case in which the police should never have got involved, labeling it an unpleasant bit of rhetoric. So no charges from police for these comments, yet Lucy Conley was punished and charged for similar remarks. Laws not being equally applied. Graham Linehan. I actually agree with Mr. Hayes. I am condemning the two-tier policing. So I think the way the goalposts are set up today in the U.S., she would have been fine saying that. It would have been seen as satirical and just high spirits, but not a true incitement to violence. After the Charlie Kirk murder, I'm thinking we need to kind of move the goalposts a little bit on this incitement to violence and really redefine that. So I would call on Congress in the U.S. to actually define incitement of violence a little tighter. And so I don't think they should be illegal, but in the UK, I believe what she said was illegal and they didn't prosecute it because the police are run by leftists in the UK who are fine with speech calling for incitement of violence against conservative type folk. But then for what they consider the victim classes, the marginalized communities, you're not allowed to have the same freedom of speech. Or that's what it appears to me. So Britain, I think you need to move your goalposts closer to America a lot. And I think America needs to move a tiny bit towards the UK. I would like to see some of this speech that veers into incitement criminalized. Since uploading this video, Ms. Hayes has claimed she's been bombarded with abusive messages from anonymous accounts. Yeah, speech has consequences. People didn't like it, Charlotte. According to the activists, some of them have leaked her address and shared photos of her young son, adding the police had given her a portable panic alarm, installed security measures at her home. Now, I don't think that's right. We shouldn't be leaking pictures of her son. We shouldn't be doing any kind of threats of real violence, which I'm sure she is getting 100%. But I am all for her being doxxed and shamed in the public square, 100%. The left has done that for years and canceled people for years over speech they didn't like. So what's good for the goose is good for the gander on this one. She has also been evicted from the vintage clothing stall she recently set up at Petticone Lane Emporium in Folk, Kent. When she arrived at work Saturday, September 13th, Richard Tozer, who owns the indoor market, told her she would have to leave after his business was targeted. He told Kent Online things went bonkers as the phones went crazy and people came in and threatened to damage her pitch. A spokesman for Kent Police said Kent Police have received allegations regarding a social media video posted on Saturday, September 13th. Investigators examined the content, concluded no offenses were committed. The person who posted the video was visited by police officers and received words of advice. They subsequently deleted the post. It's wrong for people to go out and threaten violence. I think it is okay to pressure him with words that he should kick her out. Like, we're not going to do business here. So I see that as a form of peaceful protest, and peaceful protest is okay. I don't like the two-tier policing. I don't like that Lucy Conley was thrown in jail for what she said, and Charlotte here and the Councilman Jones were given passes for what they said when they said very similar things. Those similar things, I don't think Lucy Conley should have been jailed for. So I don't think any of them should have been jailed for this. But I do think what they said may rise to the level of incitement. And so I would like to see some legislative changes. So I'm glad that this article ended with the police are calling for better guidance from the government on how to pursue arrests related to speech online. That's good. I think the UK needs to move closer on that to America on free speech, and I think America needs to move a little bit towards the UK. All right, that's what I think. Let me know if I got this wrong. Like and subscribe if you do. If you don't watch me. Thanks. Bye.